queue is
full of
interesting adventure.
And
you can always win because you can always lose. The other team can always win.
I mean, keep in mind, our two national sports are football, which is where you throw things, and baseball, where you also throw things. Like, we're really good at losing games we're supposed to win here. And, well, Cris Academy, though, going to hope to not make that the case. They're looking to win their 3rd game in a row and move on to face Fusion for a spot in the LCS.
All right. The highly contested Jarvan here. Once again, a first pick away. You know, Impaler really, really likes this champion.
And look at this, though. Coast, I actually do really like the bans they went for here. Zed, Cassidy, and Sivir, the 3 playmakers that seem to be so consistent for Cris Academy. That does let Comp get his Corki. It does let Hauntzer go back to Maokai, but I think strategically this makes the most sense if Coast can just win their lanes.
Their bans have been really reactionary to what Cris Academy have been using, especially just like the game before they used this as this. All right, that's at least 2 of our bans.
Right.
So they take out the biggest offenders, as you pointed out. The only thing is Cris Academy return back to teamfight here, and they get the AD carry of all AD carries on this patch. Corki in the hands of Cop is going to be ridiculous.
Yeah, and we've seen, you know, a lot of Corki resolution over time. I do think that there was a reason it was banned 3 times in a row, and they reluctantly gave this ban away, but we'll have to see if A, it's lane swap, or B, if Mash and Cheap can handle this lane. I think you would still see a jungle pick here. I don't think Keane has a reason to pick this yet, though. I think it's fine if he plays it, but are they really going to go for Warwick, though?
Well, I do like Warwick if it's comboed with Morgana. The only thing is, you know, Saint was pretty outspoken. He did not like that playstyle. He did not like that champion. He did not like anything about that situation. He did recognize how strong it was, though, so.
And as the time ticks on down, it's going to be the repeat performance on Morgana to try to stuff some of the crowd control, and Warwick does come in there, so SaintVicious on the Warwick.
All right, this Cris Academy team has so much crowd control and so much mid-game damage. It is insane. So this is a really scary team fight squad for Cris Academy. If Coast whoa, they quickly lock in some poke damage here. All right, so a little bit more long range.
This puts a lot of, I think, requirement on Sheep to have a great game, because Sheep can actually stuff a lot of the engages that Cris Academy want to have, but he's the only guy who can really help out here. Otherwise, it's a lot of backline, a lot of damage from afar, but you got to make sure you don't get picked off.
Yeah, and the thing is, when you combo Warwick with Maokai, it's very, very difficult, because one of those is going to get the engage on you. You always want to try and knock the Warwick off, you know, whoever he ultimates, but he could have a Morgana shield on him, and Maokai's going to be engaging at the same time anyway. So if you get that double engage, someone's going to get locked up in a poor position anyway, and you might not be able to use your CC to knock off Warwick, even if he doesn't have the Morgana shield on.
That's a good point. I forgot about the synergy. That's going to be plenty strong. And now, Keane, will it be Azir for him to close this one out? It is. So a whole bunch of siege power here. And that's finally some long range there for Cris Academy outside of his Corki rockets.
And, you know, we always talk about Nunu plus Azir and how crazy that is. Warwick plus Azir is a very similar thing. He also going to provide that attack speed buff. This is a really scary late game team here from Cris Academy. I feel like Coast are going to need to make some really big Lissandra plays. If Lissandra can get that big, you know, being able to 100% to 0 people is always
it's a good way to win some games.
So Impaler with the Jarvan that he picked up. This is the window they have. The Jarvan can just abuse Warwick early. The map is Jarvan's to make plays on.
Yeah.
It's all about Impaler affecting the lanes. Can he get his lanes ahead in the early window that he has before SaintVicious can make plays with Warwick? Other than that, Warwick just brings to the fight some sustain and, you know, maybe some skirmish power. He can 2 versus 2 if you initiate the fight. But he's not going to have a lot of the power himself. So Impaler, lot of pressure on him to make something happen this game.
And I agree with you. There's a whole bunch of room for Coast to make these plays in the first 7 to 8 minutes of the game before this comp comes online. But that's the question. How overpowering is Cop's Corki? Banned away the first 3 games coming in. Now he's going to look for it here. He gets the champion, picks it first round. Keane's Azir comes out. I think it might have been banned a couple of times throughout this series, but it's been left up to him here. A lot of great siege power, and also keep in mind, now the Cris Academy win condition is very different. It's not group up and haste and, you know, run people down. Coast has got to be ready for a different kind of attack from Cris Academy.
Yeah, I mean, they have very, very different strengths. All the champions that they had before were banned out, and they just completely flipped to the new strategy. As you said, you liked it when people didn't stop using what was working. Okay, it was banned out. That doesn't mean they don't have other strategies.
Of course.
So they just immediately jumped to number 2.
Yeah.
They're ready with the poke and siege here. Azir plus Corki, that's pretty much all you need for poke right there. Yeah, so we'll see here. Cop and FuFuu have had success in the 2 versus 2 matchups, so we'll have to see if there are more lane swaps. Lane swaps after lane swaps for the last 2 games. And once again, we do have Maokai and Lissandra as the solo laners.
Yep, so here we are into Game 4. It could be a decider, and which team can reorient faster based on these comps?
They want to get him when he comes to ward for that pixel bush, but they run out of patience, and Saint did not go for the bait. Defensive ward's up.
And out they go. So, no big invade. If Curse Academy win, they face Team Fusion tomorrow for a spot in the LCS, and Coast fights Team Final 5 for a chance to stay alive in this bracket. 2 of the 4 teams here this weekend will go to the LCS. 2 will join the Challenger Series in spring 2015. We got to figure out which one it's going to be.
All right, there's the ward I was looking for. Deep in on the Gromp side. Red ward here for Curse Academy. Even though they were invaded, they got it off. So they can know exactly where Warwick is starting. This whole jungle, the whole jungle of Coast warded up. So they're going to have complete vision of this Jarvan. And that's really what's important. I like how they recognized pretty much the thing that Coast have over us is this Jarvan early game and where Jarvan is going to go, where he's going to make the early plays. So they start off with that early vision. They want to be counteracting that as quickly as possible.
Oh, wow. Okay, so Curse Academy faked the lane swap. They ran past a knowing ward, then recalled, then walked bottom lane.
There's so many good mind games here from Curse Academy this early on. Going for the red invade also. You do not expect this invade on the bottom side because they showed their duo up top.
And so it would be considered a greedy invade here, but SaintVicious, of course, he has so much sustained.
Oh, he gets the
Warwick.
small one. Getting the small one is a win in itself. Those things are worth a lot. All right, so they trade smalls. Now it's just down to the smite fight.
All right, is it going to be enough? The flag comes down,
They're
spots him
committing
out.
to it.
390, I believe, is level 1 smite damage. Hauntzer is stuck against the wall, forced to lose his flash. SaintVicious now forced away. He is in range for the smite, though. He doesn't get it. Impaler grabs the red buff. Good start there, Team Coast.
Yeah, that's a great start reacting to the gameplay here. It looks like just a miss-up by Curse Academy. Hauntzer just tanking the red on the back there. No escape for him.
Yeah.
And then the flash binding doesn't get target. It just hits the red buff and allows a... Well, I guess it forced the flash from Cris, but it allowed the smite there from Impaler. Once again, Impaler getting the better of the 2 smites.
Hauntzer will be able to teleport and soak up about a wave and a half in the top lane, so he is going to be okay on experiencing gold curves. And based on how the lanes are shaping up, Saint can retreat to his own red, I think.
Yeah, I mean, Warwick is never going to have problems in the jungle, so he'll be fine as far as jungling's going. It's just that the plan that Curse Academy came out with, which was very, very strong, a really sound plan, and I like the mind games behind it, was foiled. So they were trying to get that Jarvan jungle behind so that he didn't get them off to a good start. That is going to be something they're going to still have to play around, but Saint will not be hurt in the jungle. Warwick can pretty much mindlessly auto-attack wherever he wants.
And speaking of mindlessly auto-attacking, though, Keane doing some good damage to Jesiz here in the mid lane. Now, CS is fine on both sides. These guys are last hitting about equally, but Jesiz under fire, takes even more damage there. 200, 300 health left on him. This is not good.
Yeah, Azir starting that poke game already, forcing him under turret and abusing him.
He's up 2 potions and 150 health.
This is... It seems like Keane is still playing with the knowledge that they shut down Jarvan, even though they didn't really shut him down. So Keane's going to have to start changing up the playstyle. You get to that 4 minutes, even though you mess with Jarvan a little bit, mid lane is very susceptible to those Jarvan ganks. So
he's not the one with the ward either.
Nope, exactly. The only thing is, he did force out a lot of mana from Jesiz. By pushing him under the turret, you make Xerath use a lot of his mana on clearing, and that pulls away so much threat. So
it's true.
Added bonus of being able to shove early and the invade in the jungle is mid lane gets to shove, and that gives you a whole bunch of control. So Keane didn't hesitate there, and Xerath wasn't able to get off enough auto attacks for his passive. Forced them back to base.
All right, so well played then here. And Keane is in a really good spot. He's going to have a much better item spike when he recalls. Right? It's plus a Doran's Ring and a Fairy Charm. For Jesiz, it's going to be plus a Fiendish Codex for Keane. So a big extra spike there for him. More AP, more attack speed, more CDR, more everything.
So the movement down bottom. Here is Impaler's first move. This is definitely the guy I got my eyes on, because this is, you know, as we said, the Coast PowerPoint is this Jarvan pick. See what he can do. He is not going to be able to cut him off. Cris.
There's a good dodge. He was dead if he didn't juke that Dark Binding, so very well done. But bot lane turret under a lot of fire here. Looks like Coast can clean this one up, do a lot of damage to it. Of course, they're denying all the golden XP, whereas Cris is soaking up XP under turret. So Coast doing better with this rotation, and they're finally not going for the Dragon Rush either, and it's paying off.
Ooh.
He tosses the Lantern. Impaler shows late, but Hauntzer's gone. He's got no flash. And they give it to Mash. Oh no! Sheep with the last Ignite tick stole it on accident.
All right, so the Ignite was on way early. That was not at all Sheep's fault. Just have to say. That will give him, okay, so it'll give him an earlier sight stone?
Yeah, he should be able to afford it when he goes back to base, but... And honestly, they've denied Hauntzer really hard, and Maokai, he does okay with that many items.
And it'll push their way.
Okay. So, yeah, they can set up a freeze. They can set up a free farm lane for Cris if he wants to back up there. Teleport is up for him. And now they go for the Dragon. I actually like this pretty well, because there's nothing they're really losing this time around. I think, compared to the last few times. I mean, Warwick is farming, right?
Well, they've already lost it, right? The turret's down.
Yeah.
There's nothing. All right, let's see. This time, there's no point in getting hit by the Dragon, so you should be perfectly juggling it. Nobody had the crop thing.
Did Coast get first Dragon every single game this series? I think they did, right?
Have not been keeping track.
I'm 99% certain they've gotten first Dragon all 4 games.
Cris Academy have been opting for the experience early rather than getting Dragon, so I would definitely agree with you. This time around, no different. First Blood, though, going
Impaler.
to as well.
He's fine.
So if you're doing this camp, a lot of people have been complaining about getting through the jungle on a lot of different junglers that take a lot of damage. The Raptor camp, if you look at the ratio of damage to health for all of the jungle camps, they're very similar for most of them, except for the small Raptors. It's ridiculous. You should definitely kill off all the small ones if you're having trouble getting through the jungle, because you take way less damage and their health is so low. It's a very little investment, time investment for you as a jungler just to kill those off quickly, and you will save a lot of HP. If you're having trouble clearing the jungle, there are things that you can do to get through it at higher health. It will take you a little bit longer because you're not, taking full advantage of whatever AoE your jungler has, but you take a lot less damage.
So what you're saying, Kobe, is if you're having jungle problems, I feel bad for you, son. I got 99 problems, but Raptors ain't one.
Yes. That is pretty much word for word exactly what I just said.
Well,
I could see the smile on your face as I started talking too, so I just wanted to keep talking until you fully got it ready, and I like it.
So I didn't stutter?
Yeah, perfect execution.
I appreciate it. Thank you. Thank you for the setup. It's like playing T-ball. SaintVicious, though, he is 6.
Level 6.
Here's the ulti potential. Cris gonna press E. I like how oh, the flash trade perfectly times it, and Cris gets out.
Oh, man.
Predicts the flash timer. Well done.
Yeah, that was really well done. He also has the skirmishers ready, so that Warwick ultimate, and he has Might up, so that Warwick ultimate is very scary. This is still 420 where the true damage is on hit.
Oh, yeah.
So Warwick really gets to take advantage of that. Great combination of items here. Let's see what they can do now that they know it's... All right.
He's going for Devour, of course.
Little switcheroo. It could have been a dead Xerath if he got off the Warwick ultimate, but no Warwick ultimate. 3 people were popped around him. I have to say, I'm just going to go with Jesiz was really lucky in that situation.
Yeah, there was no ward coverage at all, so Saint was like, you know what, let's just not risk it, but yeah, didn't want to go for it. No flash available, didn't want to die, and well, oh well. Jesiz gets away nice and safe, down 10 CS in the mid lane, and looks like ward coverage actually is starting to get pretty good for Coast, I feel like. They're sweeping wards pretty effectively, and outside of a couple of pink wards, there's not much vision for Cris Academy.
True enough. Top side seems to be their safest area. And Corki versus Lissandra, they're both going to kind of play pretty far back until a jungler heads down there. Cris just has to worry about getting poked out by the rockets.
Ooh, but here comes 2 teammates to help kill off Hauntzer. In comes the flag and drag. Hauntzer taking some damage. His flash is up. Nice flay. Hauntzer's going down. Really good stuff. No, he's going to flash. I take it back. He's going to survive.
Oh,
just
man.
Barely. Are you serious?
So... Impaler wanted to say, oh, and that's going to be out of range too. Heartbreaking. Coast, very greedy with their cooldowns. Impaler wanted to save his Cataclysm because he felt like they already had him. Oh, Impaler. Keane's in trouble
Cris
here.
is going to find Keane. There's a good ulti. Saint is around. Does he want to fight this, though? Nice move to get around the Sand Soldier while SaintVicious not going to get much, though, for himself. Does stop some of the damage. Impaler not going to run. Flash hook. It catches Keane. And nice play by Sheep. He doesn't auto-attack to give the kill to Jesiz.
I mean, Coast, they really need to let it all hang out here. They need to take more risks like this. You can't be holding on to cooldowns like your Cataclysm this long. You need to be making plays like that, like Sheep, and really going for it, because this is your backs are against the wall here.
Right.
Up top, that could have been a kill on Maokai. The Cataclysm was there. They had the damage. He just wanted to save it. But they end up getting killed down in mid and the turret. So
And the clock comes out.
things look good for Coast.
Alrighty, so 2 turrets to 0, 1 dragon to 0. They're up in CS in not very many of their matchups, but you know what? They're up in gold overall, and now they're going to be 3 turrets to 1. This is looking very good early game for Coast.
Definitely off to a good early start, and that's what we were expecting too. You know, looking at the teams coming in, they had the Jarvan. They definitely want to make more plays early. Cris Academy, they still have great scaling, and they have a good late game to fall back on. The only thing is, they have to worry about how big the gold lead gets. Xerath getting massive would be very difficult for them. This is my favorite part, the long-range pink ward kills.
I like that you can do 2 hits, though.
Yes.
So
I know.
Jeez.
All right, we'll
you
see
just
how
like, didn't want any of that. You're just like, shut up, freak.
We'll see how they recover. Well, I know exactly how you think. I'm on in the mind of Freak.
That's a scary place to be.
All right, let's see here. Raptor buff popped off. They can try and clear out some of that vision coverage. Top lane should be frozen here for Hauntzer. Doesn't have teleport though, and Dragon up in 40 seconds, so he still won't have teleport.
Ooh, clock comes out. Jesiz going in on Keane and everything else. The ulti does not get dodged. Well played there. A 3rd pick off.
There it is. No hesitation this time. They dump all the damage, pick off Azir, and that is going to give them the opportunity to clean out all of the vision just in time for Dragon. Crab control will be for Team Coast.
All right, so now Game 4 looking good. Coast want to bring this to the Game 5. They want to keep their hopes alive for the winner bracket move. And Dragon in 10 seconds with a Scuttle Crab right there. 2 sweepers are up if they need to sweep that ward.
That's a really odd spot for a ward, though.
Yeah.
I don't feel like they'll guess it's there.
And they're not high enough level for the extra radius on that, so you're really not going to find that very frequently.
Q misses, so the chase
Cris,
will be
though,
difficult.
he knows there's no mana, but it's still a risky place to be. He walks into Fog of War.
And he keeps missing Qs, so that's very dangerous. Even though he does... Oh,
Black Shield. Ooh, good dodge in the bind. Jessica gets caught. They go in for Saint. Yeah, they're going to get the kill. Nice job by Saint. He finds Impaler, I should say. The Flay back. The Ignite is on. Nice kill picked up. Sheep claims that with Ignite. Now Bunny FuFuu caught up a little bit alone. Does not have Summoners up. Nice stun onto Cop, but Mash losing a lot of health to Azir. Nice rocket as well from Cop. He's still chasing. Can he pick this one up? The flash in. The heal. The hook. Can they find it? No, there's no Summoner spell. Or sorry, no CC
There's no
spells
turret either.
Cop, though, on the chase. Another rocket lands. But a good stun from Jesiz.
All right, so that will back Team Coast up here. Pretty much even vision around Dragon, too, so I actually expect they'll return to the battlegrounds here. Let's see them continue to fight over it. Look at how many deep wards Coast have, though, all through the blue jungle. Or all through the red side, or the red-blue side jungle. So they can see everybody funneling in. They'll know the timings of the arrivals. Watch out for that AoE from the Dragon.
Jeez, he almost died to that one right there. They've got to be pretty careful. Here we go. The push on in. Jesiz is around. Gets some good poke down. Bunny still close to dead. No! Steel comes out. Saint gets it. Impaler's going to walk on back. Now it's 1 dragon apiece. The jump. Ooh, can't quite land the stun. Hauntzer got to get knocked up. Sand Soldier there, though. Impaler's got to be careful. 1 hit from dead. They find that kill. Now can Hauntzer stay alive? Sheep's got to be careful. In comes Lissandra, and it's a whole bunch of damage. They trade another 1 for 1. Now 2 for 2. No, sorry, 2 for 1 overall. I take that back. Only Impaler falls.
Yeah, 1 for 2 plus Dragon. Fairly decent. They do have a minion wave in a great spot, so pretty easy move up to mid here for Coast. And Mash Me there means they can get this turret down.
All right, so mid turret goes down. Now 4 turrets to 1. Coast, though, every single battle, they find a way to knock more structures off the map, get more gold into their pockets, and they're up 4K.
They are up 4K, so the gold lead has increased. Thing is, Cris Academy, they've got the Warwick. His Devour is completed, is able to secure the own Smite. Warwick ultimate is up, and teleport, that's going to be one.
Cris got to be real careful, though. He's flash W away from dead. They find that. Cris goes down. He wanted the blue buff, eat over the wall, but Saint was there.
All right, so that's just 1 kill, though. Pretty much all the objectives were taken, and the waves are shoved up. So not a lot for Cris Academy. They just used teleport, flash, and Warwick ultimate, which is actually a really long cooldown itself. just for 1 kill. Let's see if they can actually pressure anything here. Mid is going to be fairly difficult. Jesiz has a decent amount of mana. Got to use his spells for wave clear, though.
And she gives some people health by last hitting stuff with his Relic Shield. Early boots of Moby by him, so Sheik really wants to make plays. I mean, he's been able to kind of cash in all the gold he got from those 2 kills thanks to Ignite.
Yeah.
And that's going to be cashed in as Moby boots to make more plays for the team. We'll see if that works out for him.
They do need him, you know, to be that playmaker too. Everyone's showing a little bit of hesitancy. 4K
Hesitation.
3.5K, pretty good gold lead to sit on though. Let's see if I want to see if Saint actually goes full tank now on the Warwick. I'm actually a big fan of going full tank after you have Devour. It's pretty much that's the only item you need to have decent amount of damage.
Not a Wits End fan.
Not really. I'm definitely not a Blade of the Ruin King fan. I'm more a Wits End fan than I would be Blade just because of the magic resistance.
Grabs a Ruby Crystal, so that's going to be locket number 1.
Sounds good. Maokai going towards the Righteous Glory. Acquired.
Yeah. I actually did briefly. I actually messaged Hauntzer between games 1 and 2. I was like, "Hey, why'd you switch the items? Team comp?" And he's like, "Yeah, I just want to dive people." And you know, like he's like Zig specifically couldn't deal with me.
Well, I like building for more of an early game Maokai. You know, not trying to rely on a stacking Rod of Ages when you're faced with an earlier game team. So even though your team's already going to scale really well if you're Curse Academy, so you don't have to put yourself even further behind in the early game by itemizing that way as well. That's also why I would like some tank items to come in next for the Warwick.
Just to survive more things.
24 is done, though. It's pretty big.
All right, so a couple of power spikes done then for these guys. Merlin Omicron, of course, had been finished, plus now Sork Shoes on Keane. So those are going to be some very deadly Sand Soldiers.
Cris has played fairly well in this top lane. Extended. Always retreating in time when collapsed on. Pretty good vision, defensive vision for himself.
So I didn't know this, but apparently you're maxing W second on Azir. Q first I think is standard, but I just kind of never looked at a lot of pro builds. But W, the only level up you get off that, by the way, is the cooldown on getting more soldiers. It's the only thing you get out of ranking that skill up. And he wants that more than like the dash cooldown, the dash damage.
All right, well, 1 turret for none here. They were able to stop that push with the double AP wave clear at top. Meanwhile, their bottom lane was able to take something out. Cris having to retreat up through the river. I like how a lot of these, both of these teams have not really been falling into the crab trap, which is just randomly taking the crab. Keane looks to be in a tough spot.
Goes on in for it. The Q damage should be pretty good. No, he dodges away from almost all of it and gets over the wall. Now Jesiz gets rooted up by Bunny FuFuu. A lot of damage from Cop as well. Burns his summoner heal for that one.
So many dashes.
Yeah.
Jumps in, lanterns out. Keane's got his own safety here. A lot of cooldowns exchanged and a little bit of pressure mid.
More summoners got used by Curse Academy, though. They lost both of their heals on Keane and Cop, whereas only Jesiz used his. So theoretical advantage for Coast.
Anyway, that crab trap. Randomly taking crab, not providing a whole lot of value. It only lasts 75 seconds. So you take it right before you're going to do an objective. Keane, again, remember he used his heal already, right? Yeah.
Wow, he did not see that coming at all. Nice claw, nice jump in by Cris, and that's not quite in time for Dragon, but it is in time to get ward coverage of Dragon.
See if they can cut off Bunny. He's been circled on.
Impaler sees him. Black Shield is on. Flag and drag goes the other way.
And he's... Oh, the jukes.
Nice try, Bunny.
Them jukes.
But he lost his flash. I want to see if that's going to matter before 24 minutes, though. He's definitely going to die. But he's buying so much time, though.
Like, yeah, they are
Coast
shoving
lost a lot of ward control.
So they're shoving top, and Cop is getting some extra money as well as a little bit of pressure up there. Opposite side of the map, he might be able to get them into the turret, but other than that, you know, buying that time really didn't do much for him. And it looks like the switch over here is going to be in time, so yeah, they won't even get that wave all the way into the turret. Maybe even baited Cop in. Nope, no slow doesn't land.
Yeah. Got the second part of the key, which doesn't slow anybody. Hey!
Flash. Playmaker. Trades flashes.
It's pretty good. I would take that. And now the re-engage Curse Academy is Saint going to go for this one. He sees Cris, gets the flash in, and there comes the engage. Wow, the damage there.
So, remember, Devourer plus the Smite and Warwick Ultimate is plenty of damage. Interesting trade, though.
Two dragons.
Because they had all those defensive wards for Cris. Oh, wow.
Well, they're going to kill off Bunny FuFuu. He's actually trying to hide against the wall, though. Not going to get much for that one. But the top lane push coming in is going to be at least the inhibitor turret, I believe. Hauntzer clearing away the minion wave, and now how many people can come back in time? It's 4 team members. Sheep gets a hook. He's getting jumped on, though. Puts the box down, gets locked up. That is another kill picked up. But the son of Hauntzer, can they trade him in? Looks like the answer is yes. Impaler wants to give the kill to his team, does so. Now chases in for more. Can't find it.
Yeah, wanting to give away kills here. You know, those precious few seconds waiting to try and give MASH the kill on Bunny FuFuu. You need to be able to get back and defend. They've already opened up an inhibitor to this late game Curse Academy team. Kind of dangerous. They're taking the opportunity, though, for counterplay. Once again, rushing towards this Baron. Coast have been able to sneak quite a few Barons. This time around, though, Pink Ward in that small bush, and Impaler really chunked out. This one not so sneaky.
All right, well, they take the teleport away from Hauntzer, though. Cris hops out as well. The crab gets taken by MASH. That's actually really big, though, because now they stuff any attempt of Curse Academy to do a Baron bait.
Yeah, I don't think Curse Academy would feel that much pressure to go for it. Ping's down on it already, though. Clearing out Pink Wards, that's what it is.
Yeah, she's going to get vision control back, kind of, but for the next minute, they cannot remove that scuttler vision. And here we see very tight game, 3,000 gold lead, +1 dragon as well for Coast. But we've seen these games go back and forth multiple times. Bunny, again, in a bit of a risky spot, but he gets out safely.
And remember, Devour does stack even better when there are a lot of skirmishes. So these constant fights are actually pretty good for Curse Academy and SaintVicious specifically. Hitting that level 11 on Warwick is really big. Another level into the ultimate plus the smite on the same time. We've seen how much damage he could do. Almost 100% in Cris by himself. Really like it against Lissandra, by the way, just because she inherently is fairly squishy. Doesn't buy a lot of, you know, those tank stats. Just relies on the invulnerabilities and the cooldowns to keep herself alive. But if you're suppressed like that with Warwick, then we've seen so many Lissandras go down without even getting the chance to ultimate.
Yeah, and without, sorry, by seeing how well Bunny FuFuu is using Black Shield on Warwick to make sure he's not getting his ultimate canceled early. Yeah, you can only buy Quicksilver Sash. That is the only thing these players can actually do if they can't CC Warwick, and none of them have even started yet. So a lot of prime targets here for SaintVicious. And
there's no way Lissandra or Xerath are going to find the money for that. Maybe MASH decides to get one, but that's about it. So Saint will have a target, a good target, this whole game.
You know what's happening? The double locket.
I think it must be good.
They really, really are a fan of it. Just making sure they have their team covered. Jump in on Hauntzer. Some good damage dealt. Down to half HP already. Gets a Black Shield. That's been popped. Here's the ulti as well, but they just burn the cooldowns and down he goes. TP used by Cris. Cancels it. Doesn't need it after all. 5v4 on the map.
All right, see them switch over to mid lane here. Azir turret does go up, trying to buy themselves some time, but
ulti on the cop, though. They're re-engaged by Warwick, and down goes Cris immediately. Do they have the follow-up damage to kill this AD carry? Looks like the answer is no, and Azir forcing that team back.
Ouch. So that Warwick ultimate plus smite, definitely a lot more painful than Lissandra ultimate, and that's coming from the jungle. This is why it's banned so much.
And the team stays nice and safe. Very well done, SaintVicious, plus a little bit of follow-up. And there wasn't quite enough reach. Jesiz had burned his ulti, as did MASH, when they were chasing down Hauntzer. So the follow-up on the Lissandra pick, there wasn't any. Yeah. There were no cooldowns there to help get that champion dead.
And, you know, the way we're talking about this, we're, like, really scared for Coast, even though they're winning. But it is. There are a lot of things that they have to be scared of here. So, ooh, Pink Ward in that side bush. Not often checked. So I kind of like that one. We'll see how long that one lasts, actually.
I think my favorite bold Pink Ward is the enemy side's top lane brush. Like in the lane.
Yeah.
Because junglers will run into the middle one and be like, I'm sneaky, they didn't see me. And then they just walk like right past one that spots them.
All right, let's see about that fight over vision. They've got quite a while before the next dragon, though. Thing about the vision around dragon is you have to establish it in stages. So you don't want to ever get too deep, especially with teams like this, where both teams can actually pick especially supports off really easily. You probably need some support when going to go for those wards, and you need to move them up fairly slowly in waves.
Right now, Curse Academy doing a good job of that. They see a pink ward, they're going to kill it. They can get some more of their own wards down. Hauntzer's holding 2 right now. Double Sightstone for this team as well. Not the case for Impaler, though. He actually went for more items himself. And even despite that, though, was not really ahead of SaintVicious in combat items, though, is the weird thing. So,
yeah. I think this Dragon is more about denying it from Coast to try and deny them that move speed than it is about Cris Academy, getting the buff for themselves, actually. So they already have their first one. That's really what they're worried about here. Thing is, if they go into that Dragon Pit, Xerath can land some strong poke, and that's what they need before the fight starts out.
And here we go. Again, the ward is easily getting cleared. Good job by Team Cris Academy to kill that pink ward off. No defensive pinks now available. Sweeper used, and there's the engage, though. Cris gonna go down. He does manage to flash away, though, and that could be a bit of a bait, but the jungler already drops down. Impaler is gone, and the tank line. Cris Academy with a tanky top laner. Just people don't die.
Yep, still able to find that kill. It's so hard to survive that. Let's see if they can actually pull off a miracle steal here. Sheep not even going to go for it. Too dangerous.
And no chance. So Dragon number 2 goes to Cris Academy, and these guys are looking very good here in Game 4. Fighting back from the gold deficit very cleanly.
Yep. I mean, they're tied on Dragons, still at the gold deficit, but the options for Coast just look like they're not there.
And here we go, top lane under fire. Looks like it's going to be Sheep buying a little bit of time for Mash, and he can always lantern him out. Going to sit towards the back line. Doesn't want to risk the W engage from Hauntzer, though, and he goes back early. Now, the gold lead, as you were talking about, it is actually diminishing a bit. It was 3,500, now it's down to 3.
If they already can't win team fights, then even with a gold lead, then it's not going to get any better for them.
Oh, they almost get this turn. He's going to stay for it. It's going to be rough, though. A lot of crowd control spent onto Mash, and almost Bunny FuFuu nearly locks up the entire
Xerath is here,
route right there. Yeah, and a lot of poke down. Hauntzer, one hit from dead. Nice W to dodge, and he gets away. The Locket Shield helping as well from SaintVicious.
That minion betrayed Coast going into the jungle here.
What a heads-up play, though.
Hauntzer able, yeah, exactly. The presence of mind. You always have to keep in mind all of your defensive abilities. And yes, Twisted Advance is a defensive ability at times.
He wasn't even Festive Maokai and still had presence of mind.
That one was really forced.
Oh, come on.
That one was pretty forced.
Whatever, I liked it. Impaler clears away.
I know you did.
They're better when they're forced anyway.
All right, let's see here. Were they able to leave? Nah, not even that much deep vision left behind here from Coast. I mean, this late in the game, whenever you go for plays like that, when you have a strong presence on one side of the map, the best part about it is leaving behind a couple wards as you exit, so that you can continue to make plays. But they just didn't have any left. Now you can see they've all bought a bunch of pink wards, and everybody's got them in their inventory. Even Jesiz picking up a whole bunch. So they were all like, we didn't have any wards before when we were in position to get the deep ones down. So now they're going to try and make it up, try and not give up any more ground here. Azir, though, man, that is such a useful ability. Being able to take out wards from that distance. Yep. Even safe from a Lissandra engage.
The Black Shield comes in. Mash, though, really out of position. Burns the QSS just before Warwick catches up to him. Can he survive, though? Hauntzer a bit locked up. Keane in the backlines. Impaler gets him. 1 for 0 so far, but they trade back onto Cris. Now the rest of the team forced to run away. Impaler will EQ out. Baron not quite aggroed by Cop. Saint runs fast, but he has no ulti left up. Good Lantern. Out he goes. 1 for 1 overall, trading solo lanes.
All right, so even though they got a 1-for-1 trade, that was pretty lucky there for Coast to get it. Looks like it's Cris Academy's vision around Baron to clean up. Ooh, the vision.
Yeah, I mean, he can EQ out as Jarvan, but it's weird to, recall somewhere so unsafe.
When you have Blood Scent on you,
right,
you never really feel safe recalling.
Well, Jess is now isolated. Cop heals for the move speed, and Jess is forced to flash away, gets a lantern out. Trade of summoners.
All right, they got the summoner out, but, turret money is going to go into the pockets of Cris Academy. And Warwick is going to go full tank after this, so he can feel free to jump in on whoever he wants. Morgana's shield has been constantly put on him. They don't need it for Cop in the back line. He's been fairly safe. He can rely on Azir to just peel for him. Maokai as well can just go to the front line. Thing is, Azir's got to worry about himself. We saw him get traded for there. Keane's got to worry about that positioning with no summoner spells available for the next fight.
Well, He's generally had enough peel for himself, though. Black Shield with good timing and his ulti have oftentimes saved his life. I mean, yes, he's 0-5, but a lot of those kills were super early on. He's just been the primary target, and typically I feel like Cris Academy have found ways to keep him afloat even when he gets dived. So,
yeah,
we'll see what happens.
I mean, Azir can still poke fairly effectively, you know, kept down like this, but he's such a good late game champion. The scaling is insane for him.
What's interesting as well is, like, you would kind of think him similar to Zyra, right? Summons a bunch of sort of minions, like a lot of poke damage. But it's actually, he works so much the opposite. Because Zyra, if you one-shot her, if she at least like blows her initial set of cooldowns, she does like 95% of her damage anyway. In fact, she unlocks her burst combo by getting her passive available. But like, the plants just do stuff anyway. Azir has to auto-attack to do anything. So he is purely uptime based. And if you kill him, he has no uptime and he does basically nothing.
Yeah. They may consider keeping Maokai back for peeling instead and try to play their team fight a little bit more defensively centered around Keane. We'll see, though. That would definitely require more focus once again. They've had Jarvan and Lissandra jumping for him.
Impaler burns his smite, gets the ward kill with it, and you've just got to be so concerned with how these fights start. It's so explosive. If you miss Black Shield, you're going to just get blown up by Lissandra Xerath. Yeah. And if you don't respect Warwick, you get blown up by him plus Azir.
And that's really what these guys are discussing. Because these these are all about team fights, this whole game is pretty much fighting over the vision for your team fight. That's around your objective. So both teams trying to come up with the counterplay there. The only thing is, Warwick with Black Shield, there's no counterplay. You're going to have to blow up the Black Shield really quickly with magic damage to try and knock him off.
Oh wow, really aggressive on the Cop. They've got to be careful. Hauntzer gets locked up for a bit, but Mash is so low. He's got to QSS out of this one. Can he, though? Looks like the answer is no. Bunny FuFuu gonna claim that kill in the back lines. Cop just will not go down. Cris tried, but it wasn't enough. Jesiz makes that a third death, and now Sheep is on the run. This is Cris Academy right now.
Ooh, you can hear the screams coming out of them in the studio here, too. They know LCS is within their grasp. This game almost going down. This would be the last game that they need to move on to one more set. Then they just have to face Fusion.
But they've got to respect Impaler. He's stolen Barons before. Cop goes for the fight, gets the kill. That is 4 kills this fight. Baron all but secured at this point. No one's even around to steal it away. Cris Academy pull back the gold lead. They get themselves Baron Nashor. Of course, Smite was used during the fight. And look at this, Cris Academy poised to take the series 3-1.
All right, so if they're able to close this one out, and they go to face Fusion. All right, well, let's see it again. Mashme on the front lines here. Cop is able to use his Valkyrie to get out, but Mashme just gets tracked by everybody. Hauntzer and Bunny go straight for him. SaintVicious locks down Cris, so that the lockdown on Cop wasn't going to come until much later, and then they just re-engage on him. But man, Hauntzer tracking through and locking Mash down to get that QSS out for Bunny FuFuu's ultimate. He wasn't able to put out any more damage after that really aggressive start to the fight for him.
Yeah, and you said that the sort of game was about getting vision control for the team fights. Mash moved in too aggressively, like kind of not realizing who was around to jump onto him. And immediately he goes on a Cop and suddenly there's a Maokai and it's like, oh, whoops. Yeah. Not where I wanted to be after all.
And you can see Saint already has decided to start ulting other targets. The 2 AP carries more high priority just because there is a Quicksilver on Mash.
Yeah. And he actually burned it right before the Morgana ulti hit him. Yeah. So he dropped Twisted Advance from Maokai, but Bunny FuFuu made him get stunned, and down he went, so.
All right, so if Cris Academy are able to push through, now that they do have this crazy siege and they have got Azir plus Baron buff and Corki for poke, facing Fusion, there's a lot of chaos in Fusion's first series.
Yeah.
So Cris Academy, you can tell they're feeling pretty hyped up already. And again, even if they lose the Fusion, then they still have that another chance. So this is a very long double elimination tournament to get in.
Coast have to realize that Final 5 overperformed earlier today, and in their opinion, I think they would say that Cris Academy maybe overperformed because these guys were supposed to be favorites, at least in their own minds in this matchup. But Cris Academy doing a great job. The siege has continued, and this is going to be a very dead turret.
Oh, yeah.
6 turrets down. Mid lane tier 2 is gone. And slow and steady, though. Still, Cris Academy not kind of getting overhyped for this one. Taking their time with all this.
Yeah, they've shown great poise even when they're winning, which is really important in the new season. Taking it slowly. Keane going to go back and get some more items. And even though he's been kept down all game,
Deathcap's done now. He's
right
got
back in it. He's got the 3
core.
main items.
Yeah.
And the team going to keep up the pressure even without him. So they have to be a little bit careful here. This is maybe a slight opening for Coast.
Yeah.
They still haven't seen him though, so there's no vision, and they would not know that they could try and take advantage here. So
the window's only 10 seconds now. He's almost back with the team here.
Yeah, problem is, this is before the nerf to the duration of Baron buff, so it's going to be up for quite a while, long enough for this siege. And they've already got an inhibitor open, so
it's true.
Cris kind of just taking this bottom turret because it's in position, because there's a minion wave there. They'll probably take this, go back with the global gold, and then return for the open inhibitor.
The turret shield helping them stay alive. Finally, that gets broken. Can the damage really come through for Cris Academy? The actual buffed up cannon minion doing a little bit here, and Cop as well with the Bloodthirster shield. Not taking any meaningful damage, but this turret's down about half HP. Baron at 30 seconds left. There's only 1 wave left of this for Coast to survive. That cannon is still doing damage. Jesiz gets caught, burns QSS. In comes Maokai. Fight has begun, and Jesiz gets away. They find some damage, but the tank line is so strong. Cop forced back. Nice divide there from Keane. They get 2 for 0 so far. Make that 3. This could be game. Sheep locked up. Impaler going to go down. That's about to be the clean ace. No one dead from Cris Academy.
All right, that's definitely going to be the game. Scream's coming out once again. Cris Academy is going to roll through the base here. Wow, even split under the turrets. The scaling was too much. Jez is really low on mana and health in the back there, but pretty good kiting.
Yeah, very good stuff though. Cris Academy going to go ahead and knock this one down. High cooldowns on Keane, the Sand Soldiers. The W going to make that happen. Cris Academy, they dropped game 1, but they made it convincing the rest of the way through. 3-1, Cris Academy. 1 series away from the LCS.
All right. So we will have Fusion versus Cris Academy.
Yes, we will.
And then Coast versus Final 5.
Those are both going to be very interesting matchups there because I want to believe that like neither series went the way people expected.
So that's the thing. Everyone keeps saying Final 5 are overperforming, but if you overperform every single match that you have,
then you're better than people think you are.
Are you just underestimated? Yeah, like people are just underestimating them, I think.
I think it's definitely the case. And you actually heard that Fusion, they said they knew to respect Final 5. They said, look, we're taking every single game seriously. We cannot overlook these guys. They overtook some very good teams to get here. Let's not throw it away now. And yet, even despite that, Final 5 started out in really good form the first 2 matches. Now it's kind of the backs against the wall fights here, but like based on sort of match pedigree, right? Like based on taking Fusion to 5 games, which still is like the de facto best team in Challenge, or like Final 5, I feel like come into that with their heads held high with a lot of confidence.
Yeah.
And Coast feel like theirs got to be shattered.
Well, we'll have to get an interview with them maybe and find out.
Yeah, well, when we get that signed up, I actually don't know if that's here for us just yet, but certainly a very good performance. Cris Academy have actually, I think, continued to delight in how well they do play. They are so strategically sound. I love their support staff because they're finding them really good comps. And despite individual players kind of playing well or playing poor game to game, as a team, Cris Academy seem to play so properly every single time.
Yeah, as we keep on saying this, they're so calm. Whether they're behind or ahead, it doesn't seem like they're making any more of those rash decisions as we've seen a lot of the times. And it really has improved their consistency. One of the most consistent teams that we've seen.
Yeah, you have this sort of superstar mid laner in Keane who imported from Korea and imported from Curse Oceania, just in between that too, and is like, yeah, I play all the crazy stuff. I know how to play mid Hecarim. Like I'm gonna hard carry a couple of these games. He starts at 0-5, and Curse Academy's like, that's fine. You gave Cop Corki. All we want to do is siege. Just wait for a while. Just wait for SaintVicious to get these picks. And time and again, these guys are playing the game properly. The big question for me was actually in this game, forced to play a new style. Right? You can't glom on team fights. You've got to play the consistent siege. And starting out slow, starting out with Coast getting a lot of advantages, Cris Academy still made all the right choices. They got the fights they wanted. And it was honestly just a very well-played game.
Yeah, no hesitation there from Cris. And a very impressive final performance.
All right, so it sounds like we're going to have our interview on stage, I believe. Am I correct on this one? We do have the interview ready. Sorry about that one. So send it over to Dash, who's with the winners.